Good morning, everyone, and thank you today for attending today's presentation from the CA Process Automation. Our speaker today is going to be Eyal, and he's going to be talking about some of the enhanced services for Service Desk using PAM. Please note that at the end of today's sessions, we'll open up your mics for online questions, but also please be aware that there is a Q&A, so you can actually type in your questions by pointing to the upper right-hand corner. You can see questions there. You can actually enter a question at any time, and then we can open up the questions to Eyal. Eyal, thank you very much for giving us our presentation today. Would you like to take over now? Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Good morning. In the U.S., it's actually already evening here in Switzerland, and welcome to the session of today. We'll be speaking about, I was speaking about how to enhance, or how we did actually the enhancements to be able to work with the web services in a much simpler way than it is usually used for Service Desk using PAM. Let's have a look here. So as an introduction, I just put 3 points over here. What we will try to cover is the implementation. It's actually a project that lasts for a couple of months or weeks. And at the end of this project, the result is, if you like, an enhancement to the Service Desk standard functionality, that, as we all know it, using PAM. That we're going to talk about it during this presentation. The purposes of this presentation, as always, it's always good to reflect, to think about what was done, to get some ideas also from people outside the project, like yourselves, and to share this information in the community. And this is the idea of this presentation. Your comments are most welcome. As mentioned before, you have on the right-hand side at the bottom the Q&A. If somebody has a question, don't hesitate, just type it. We might be able to have some voice during the presentation. If not, at the end of this presentation, we will open the lines for questions and answers, hopefully. So, what is on the agenda for this presentation? A couple of general information. Try to keep it simple. Some background about ourselves, about the project, about the customer, our customer, where we have implemented this solution, and the project overview. A couple of words, not too much into too much details. Then we will go into details of the implementation. What's the idea behind it? How does it work actually? What's the difference between the standard way of working with Service Desk using web services and the way that we have implemented it? And we split it into 2 parts: the Service Desk part, the customization or the enhancements that we have done over there. And then also about the PAM, which is the focus of our community, how PAM can contribute to this effort. And then we go through a couple of not too many slides about the summary of this presentation, which is the challenges that we had faced during this project, what are the benefits, and closing of this session. Some general infos. So who we are, this is the company that I'm representing, Pointsoft, located in Switzerland. Our background and focus is a couple of years of enhancements, implementations, and so on in the service management area, of course, with PAM as well. In the focus, we are doing also CA, Clarity, BPM. Company established a couple of years back, now 7 or 8 years, almost 7 years. And this is what we are doing. We are, if you like, implementers, focused on CA technology, and we develop quite a bit ourselves. The the landscape of the customer where we have implemented this solution, just to give you an idea about the scalability of this solution as well. It's not a small company, quite a big one. In this industry, we cannot disclose names or things like that for the moment. If anybody is interested to get more details after this call, just drop me a note or contact me somehow. But in general, generally speaking, it's a company which is, we can say, in the manufacturing area, #1 worldwide in their area, in their manufacturing branch. Headquarters in Switzerland, of course, and the size of this company about 10,000 users. The IT division, about 500 people worldwide, where they are split into different locations worldwide as well. The split or the location of the data centers, mostly centralized, each region, so continent-wise, Europe, America, and so on. And some of the services that they provide are also outsourced, like any other global company in this size, as you can imagine. The project itself, actually, the background to this project of the enhancing the service desk solution that they have in place to with the PAM to be used by other applications and simplification of the web services did not start in one day. It was actually a need that came out of the, I would say, extensive usage of the service desk solution as a ticketing tool to be able to integrate this ticketing tool also to other applications and to benefit from this integration for automation and simplification and rapidness and all the good things that you could imagine in order to increase efficiency at working. So service desk itself for this client is not used only for the IT purposes. It's used also for the business, for some departments, and this is the reason that we had to or were asked, let's say, like that, to be able to enhance the functionality of the web services in order to integrate it with other tools. The vision behind it was to be able, first of all, to simplify. This is one of the keywords that you're going to hear a bit later also. Simplify the automation of automatically creating, updating, reading information from and to service desk, to centralize the responsibility of those handlings, of those tickets that are coming from all over and going all over into one place. And then the third step, the third point of this vision was, I would say, a main integration. So we had a couple of integrations with other tools, but one of them is really important, is the integration of another ticketing tool, so a vendor ticketing tool itself, and then we had to simplify really good the functionalities and the web services possibilities as much as possible. The targets of this project, a bit of more details, or going into more details, is actually to be able, if we're speaking about service desk itself, so if you know a bit service desk, you would know that the main objects over there are focused around the ticketing, the tickets. So what we are calling incidents or requests or problems. This is what we call tickets. This is one interface that we have built. The other one is an interface for the change request or change orders, and the third one for CI management. What can we do with any of them? More or less the same. It means a possibility to create an object, one of those objects, or to update, or to read information from service desk and to transfer this information to the system that is interested to have it, manipulate it, and so on. The next point is, again, a bit of repetition, but a bit more detailed, to enable the clear visibility of the web services transactions for administrators. If you have seen, if you were involved in web services development or integration of any kind, you notice probably the amount and the sizes of transactions that are flowing between the systems. Sometimes, most of the times, it's very, very difficult to recognize what's going on over there. You would need to dig into log files, and you would need to check a lot of things, source systems. If for any reason there is some kind of things that are out of sync, things like that, difficult. So what we have enabled, we will see it a bit later, is actually everything is visible. So any transaction that is sent into or going out of service desk using the mechanism is actually logged, it is visible, it is trackable, it has a status, the status can change, the status can be updated by admins, it can be reported on, so nothing disappears or nothing is hidden from the eyes of the service desk administrator. Yes, we will see it later. Enable a simple exception handling mechanism in case of failures. So, of course, it relates to that. We store all the transactions in one place, so they are visible. And the next is, okay, we can also work on them. They have a status. We can resubmit things much easily. And we can do exception handling in a much easier way. And some to enable statistic reports. So this is also something which is not very easy to do, especially if you have some tools that are not showing, do not show actually all the transactions to the right people. It's difficult to know how many transactions did we have, how many tickets have we created. So we see maybe the end result, but how many failures did we have? How many rejections did we have? What were the causes of those rejections? Difficult. So in this way, where everything is visible, or more visible, much more visible, it's more easy to handle that. The involved applications, if you like, or the components that we have, service desk, the versions 12.5, PAM, at the moment 3.1 SP1, unfortunately. We started with this version, did not upgrade yet, but we have an intention to actually participate in the beta program coming up soon for 4.2. So we go over there. Abby, these are the service desk manager, if you like, components. External applications that we integrate with are those that are listed here. We will focus on the one that is mentioned below, the vendor ticketing system as an example. More information about the implementations. Let's go a bit further into details. Sorry if the font is not enough big, but I think it's enough readable. So the scenarios, how does it work actually? We have a couple of scenarios, high level, really, to integrate with other systems using this mechanism, this module, if you like, the simple one. The simple one is an external application that is interested to create a ticket, needs to send the information. So this is very, very simple. Actually, this is implemented also using the standard create a ticket or create change order or create CI, whatever you want, in the standard SOAP WSDL, which is provided standard out of the box with the service desk. What we have done with this actually is to simplify the lives of the administrators or the developers on the other side, on the external application side, which normally, if they need to do it using the normal WSDL, they need to, first of all, do a login. Afterwards, they need to get a session ID. Afterwards, they need to submit something in a very, very defined structure. So they need to struggle a bit. We have simplified it to the level that they need to send actually just pairs of information. They need to send some kind of SOAP envelope to us, to PAM, a special, of course, location, which specifies the pairs. Pairs means I want to create a ticket, so my pairs are summary, XML pair summary, and then the next string that represents this information is actually the data, the value of the tag summary. I would like to say the user is called, I don't know, my name, Eyal. So the name is Eyal. I need to specify customer. So this is the next tag, tag number 3 in the XML. And the name is Eyal. That's it. Things like that on this level. Very simple, very self-explained, and not too much complicated. What we are doing with PAM and our module is actually we take those informations and we interpret them. So if it's a user that's called Eyal, I need to find, of course, it's not normally it's not just the name. It would be the first name, last name, or it would be the user ID. Then I would need, in the backend, I would need to have some kind of mapping table or some kind of translation table in PAM that would actually query the service desk database and will get for me the UUID of this user and stick it into the right place to be able to create a ticket or to create a CI. Okay, so this is the mechanism that we're talking about. So the first one is really the simple scenario. Some application sends us these pairs. We will see an example afterwards. And that's it. Just send and forget. And the system is not interested anymore to know what was the result, successful, not successful. At this point, from this point onwards, this is the problem of the service desk administrator to make sure to take care that a ticket is created or a CI is created or whatever is created, a change order is created. And if not, he has to resubmit it and retry it until it is successful. That's it. The second scenario is what we call asynchronic scenario. It means that the external application tries to create the object, so we get an envelope, a SOAP envelope, which says this is the things that we would like to do, and we can do one of three things: either creation of an object, an update of an object, or a read action. So I would like to know information about some CI, what is the name, whatever. So I send a read, or the external application will send a read request, and will get the information in return. And this is done in 2 steps. So the first step, the external application sends the information, so it's placing them in the queue of PAM, of service desk queue. And then it needs to come back for after a while, so it's a defined interval of a couple of seconds until actually the module, PAM, if you like, is going into the system, creating the ticket, is doing the update, is doing whatever it needs to do. It places back the result in the same record in the in queue. We call the in queue. This is the placeholder for us for those transactions. So the external application is actually responsible also to take it from this queue. So they need to do always the 2-time interfacing with the queue. And the interval between this interface is something that they define. It means that as long as there is no answer, it needs to come back again and to search for the answer. Okay, so this is this method. And the third method is actually, again, asynchronous communication between the external application and service desk using PAM, but in a slightly different way. And here it's a bit more complex or more advanced. It is that we send information, or the external application sends information in the first scenario. The external application, as you can see, the trigger is the external application, the reactor is service desk for those operations, to create, to update, and to read. And this is done in 2 steps. So the external application is doing create object, or creating a line into the in queue, what we call the in queue. This is the placeholder to accept, to receive requests for creations in service desk. And then immediately the external application gets immediately delivery acknowledgement, means, okay, external application, thank you for the transaction. We acknowledge we received it, we will work on it. In the second step, service desk PAM is working with service desk to create the record, if it's a ticket and so on. As soon as this is done, after a while, we don't know what is the interval. It can be short, it can be longer. There is out queue record. It's a triggering from service desk out of the system into another queue, which is what we call the out queue. And in this out queue, actually, we place all the things that service desk is doing by himself, including new creations, including also some manual tasks. If I have an analyst or a technician working on a ticket and changing the status of a ticket from from work in progress to resolve. So we have a ticket that was resolved. So this is for us a trigger in service desk that can generate a record into the out queue, which need to be transmitted or synchronized with another application out there, which actually originally opened this ticket. So these information we keep in service desk itself. So we keep for each ticket, each such ticket, we keep two elements: the name of the external application on the ticket, and the unique identifier from the external application also on the ticket. So we know actually afterwards who to contact, which external application to contact in case things happen using this third method. So this is the first, the asynchronous way, which is a bit advanced. In the bottom, in the colored area, you see it's the same scenario, but the opposite. It means that the ticket, the trigger, is actually service desk itself. And this is the scenario that I would like to address today. A bit later, more in details. It means that we have a ticketing tool at one place. We have another ticketing tool in another place. We need to synchronize between them. It means that in this case, each ticket that is created and transferred to a specific group is actually triggering an out queue record or a record to be processed by PAM to send it out to the external application. And vice versa, when the external application, the external ticketing tool, if you like, is resolving this ticket, we need to know about this in the service desk. So this external application is sending us from the other side a notify, or if you like, an update statement, which is essentially another record into the in queue this time, to say this ticket is resolved, and so on. So this is the idea with this scenario. So how does it work in a bit more details? So exactly like I mentioned just now, just in more details. In service desk, a transfer in service desk itself of a ticket to a specific group, which is a predefined group based on whatever criteria, some kind of flag, if you like, will flag actually this ticket to be transferred or to be synchronized with the external application, with the external ticketing tool on the other side. So PAM is actually constantly querying or checking service desk database, service desk call request table, if you like, checking is there anything to process and to put it in the out queue. When it finds something like that, takes all the relevant information and puts it over there, and then sends it in a second step to the other application. The steps here is we get each time a confirmation, so we get an acknowledgement. The acknowledgement belongs to the first step. The second step is the external ticketing tool The analysts on the other side, they work on this ticket. As soon as they do something which is defined as triggering an update back, it will come back as an update to the in-queue. What we see in front on the screen is how does it look like actually on the ticketing tool itself on our side. So there is what we call some kind of transfer flag, and the idea behind is that as soon as certain criteria on this ticket are fulfilled, we flag this ticket with, as you can see here, 1. It means for us, 1, it means please take it and send it. And afterwards, when it is sent to the other system, we will flag it in number 2. It means it's okay, it's done. If we have further updates, it will go to 3, 4, and 5, and so on. Depends on what we would like. And each time we flag the ticket in a different flag so that we know in which status it should it is currently set. And based on that, the logic in PAM is built to transfer it to the other system and back. So we saw the first step. It was to transfer this ticket to the external ticket. What happens next? Next is updates on both sides. Both sides meaning both ticketing tools. One at the customer, one it's if you want the vendor. They have their own life cycles. So the life cycles must be somehow correspond to each other. We cannot allow different things happening at the same time on those tickets. So we have what is called a master and a slave. So once the responsibility to resolve a ticket is moved to the vendor, to the other ticketing, to the external ticketing tool, the possibilities to update the ticket on the slave, on the original, the originating system are limited. What we can do is to do log commands, we can do attachments, and that's it. And those things are synchronized simultaneously from both sides, which is because they don't interfere in the normal life cycle of the tickets. Next are transfers and status changes, which have special meaning, and they are only possible to be done in this scenario on the target system. It means where the master is. So we have two tickets, they are synchronized, but in one place they can they are blocked. People can only put comments and attachments, for example, on the ticket. On the other side, the ticket is really, the master is really progressing with its life cycle. At the bottom is actually the scenario, again, a scenario, sub-scenario in this scenario that we will focus a bit later, which is the resolution of the ticket. The resolution of the ticket on the target system is actually happening at some point, and then we have actually a feedback from the target system, from the external ticketing system into the original system using PAM and the in-queue, out-queue. These are the transactions that we see on the ticket itself. So we see actually the in-queue, out-queue. And just to explain a bit, it all starts, you see at the bottom, an open. You see an action, you see a timestamp, you see a transaction ID. So for each ticket, you don't have, I mean, if you're an administrator and you have a ticket which needs to be synchronized with an external application of any kind, you don't need to go and search in logs and spend a lot of time to find out what happened with the synchronization. You just look on the ticket itself. There is a special place where we put it, which actually is showing all the transactions that are relevant for this, the life cycle of the synchronization of this ticket. It starts in this case in the open, as you can see here. There is an open, oh, not the best. Yeah, there's an open here, okay, and we get actually an acknowledgement for this open quite fast. So this is an open, it means the ticket is created and sent to the other system. You see also based on the timestamps that when we send the open in this time, 0357, 1 minute later, we get the PAC. It's called the PAC, or process acknowledgement, with the external ticket ID from the other system at 3:58. So it took 1 minute to send from the original system the ticket to the other system, and the ticket replied already using the in-queue, using the same message ID or transaction ID. As you can see, 6633 here. You see, it's the same one. This is the message, and the other one is the response. Okay, to say it's okay, it's in synchronization. And each time we have also the status. So say the ticket is updated successfully, and so on. So I see some questions here, just a sec. What is done in PAM to set this up? What is behind the scenes? Yes, we get to that later. And Harry is asking what are the IDs in the step 4. IDs in the step 4 are the IDs in the what we call the in queue and the out queues. Okay, so those are the record IDs of the transaction, as it is documented in the tool. We'll see it later. So what have we done actually in Service Desk itself to enable that? This is a screenshot of Service Desk administration menu. You can see here there's a new entry which is called interfaces, and this is broken into a couple of focus areas. The first is the action status. We will see it later, and then we have 3 focus areas: change requests, config items, and tickets at the bottom, which for each and every one of them, we have what we call the queues, in queue and out queue. And then we have also the mappings, which actually are used to be able to speak in the language of the target system. Of course, if we have a status or something like that, that says open or work in progress or whatever, or a group name, it doesn't necessarily have, they don't necessarily have the same names. We have to have some kind of mapping mechanism. So we start with the action status. You see it's broken into different statuses. Those are the list together of the lists that we have in the status tables, and they are used based on areas. So the first are used for the ticketing, the second are for the external application, which actually go together with either one of them, and the third is the focus on the change request, and last are CIs. And you can see the statuses are quite detailed on the ticketing, because there we have actually, we put more effort, less on the others. They are less communicative, the change request and the CIs, but still they say the same. It means that somebody sends us a record, it is in status pending. After we work on that, can have 2 possibilities: either the processing of this record failed, or it was successful. So this is essentially what we have here in a nutshell. The mapping of the statuses and mapping of other objects looks something like that. So this is the target system, and the source system here. This is the target system. The external application here is the source system here, which says, basically, if we have a status like this, what is the equivalent on the target system? Here, sorry to hide some sensitive information, but this is what we have on the in queue and out queue. So if you go back here, so if you look on the ticket in queue out queue at the bottom, this is what you see. You see the list. You see the list of all the messages that are coming through, or you can zoom in free time later to see actually that for each record we have a couple of things. We will see this more in detail, but this is the overview of what's happening in my system at the moment. And this is a standard HTMPL, Service Desk possibility to browse into objects to see things. And here I can do the filtering, I can do the analysis, working tool, not digging into some logs that are difficult to understand. the details of, for example, the out queue looks like this. So you see, basically the message that we are sending is kept here, what we call the action message. The action message is something that we query the database for, or service desk. So let's assume, go back to the session, to the scenario we mentioned before. We would like to send some information, so we predefine which information we would like to use. This is automatically, or PAM is taking this information and puts it into the action message with the status waiting for communication to external system. Okay, so the status is here. We generate also an automatic message ID, which is some kind of logic, which is the concatenation of the ticket ID with the ID of this record. This is a new object in service desk. And this is the first step. The next step is the action message prepared. So actually, the target system it expects which is also, of course, linked or opening for us a web service possibility to connect to. It actually requires us to send the message in a different shape and form. So the SOAP messages are not exactly the same. This is clear if it's a different system. So we need to work on this mapping. We need to do the mapping. We need to do the conversion. In some cases, it's a date formatting which is expected. All this is done by PAM. So we do it in at least 2 steps. One step, we take the information, raw information from service desk, and we put it in this form of strings, of pairs, label value, as you can see here. And then we work on that. And this is also a definition within PAM itself, which we are using the information to map to the information or the structure that the external system is expecting, and to be able to send it afterwards. At the bottom, you see the action result of PAM after sending this information to the external system, which says if it's okay or not. Similarly, the in-queue. The in-queue looks more or less the same. The order is of course, inverted. It means that first we get the action message prepared, and then it goes to the action message to be able to update the system or service desk with the relevant information. On the tickets, like we saw before, this is a bit more zoom out of what we have there. We have for each ticket, you see also some additional information from service catalog, from SLA data. What are the transactions? These are the transactions that we have for each ticket. Very easy to follow. If one ticket is not synchronized for some reason, we don't need to go too far to try to find it. Service desk on itself, once it is synchronized with another system, we keep this the reference number of the other system in service desk, on the service desk ticket, like I said before, and we are able also to search on it to find it and so on. As you can see here in the middle, it's a number, and then the external number split by slash in the middle to see these informations. On the PAM side, we have, of course, several things, but those are the main ones. We have the processes, we have the agendas, and of course we have we are using web services for almost all the actions that we have, and JDBC connections to go to the database. Those are the processes that we are using. Quite a bit of a list of processes where we are focusing here only on the ticket. This is an example of the out queue. The out queue process, as you can see here, the out queue process is taking the information from a service desk and puts it into this out queue record. So what does it take to do it? Those are the steps. This is maybe a bit of some interesting point. This is how the mapping works. So the mapping, actually, we have a table or a value map, if you like, in PAM, which says, when we have a group, a summary, description, those are the things that we would like to find out of it. So all the information that we grab out of the of service desk, they are mapped actually in one way or another to generate eventually the pairs, the string pairs that we mentioned before. And here are the elements that we list. So if, for example, tomorrow there will be a new attribute, there is nothing to develop additionally. Just need to add something to this value map, and it will be there. It will be available over there. Here is also a definition. What do I need to take? So, for example, the impact. I have an impact on the ticket. But is it enough for me? No. I would like to know actually the name of the impact, because the name of the impact is linked or is mapped to the name of the impact on the other target system, but with a different name. Do I need to do a conversion? Do I need to do some kind of escape special characters? All of this is defined in this table, and based on this table, based on this functionality, the value map, we have the functionality behind to generate the SOAP message. So you see here, this is an excerpt of an out queue. This is the result. So you see the strings, the value maps, sorry, the pairs, which are listing actually for each element over there. What is the reference number, and then the value of this reference number, the type, symbol, and so on. And very flexible to use, and afterwards very flexible to map on the system. The out queue pre-processing and sending this information to the external application looks a bit more complex than the out queue. So this is another process. This is the process that the PAM process, which is actually taking the information from the first. If you remember before, there was an action message. So this action message, and then it takes it to the next level, changes the format, and doing the mapping. So each on the left side, you see what is the label that we get in the SOAP message from the out queue, in the out queue record. And then in the second, you see actually this is the name, the title that we would like to give it. And then in the third, it's the place where we need to stick it. It's actually a mapping to another XML or a SOAP message, completely different structure that we can define here. And then it will generate for us a SOAP message in a structure that we have that we would like to use. So here again, we try to keep it as much as possible flexible, so that if the target XML, the SOAP XML is changing, or if we have a new system to link to, we don't need to change anything. We don't need to develop anything additionally. Actually, everything is here. We just need to define different mapping for the other application. And this is how it looks like on the target SOAP message that we would like to build. You see all those elements. It's completely different to what we had before. Before we had, just to remind, it's the pairs, the string pairs. So we have the summary, the description, and so on and so forth. But actually, the end result is this: completely different completely different in the structure, and also might include different information based on the mapping that we are doing during the processing. The agendas look like this. So we have agendas which actually more or less say those processes are scheduled to run every 1 minute and to take information and to hand over information between each other. This is the way we have chosen to work with it. Not necessarily with triggering based. It means that every transaction is processed to the end, but really based on batches. There are pros and cons for this method, but in any case, that's the method that we are working. It means that we have enabled all those agendas to to work on more than one transaction at the same time, and we preferred to put more emphasis on the workload than on the single transaction level. But we take into consideration that some transactions are related, and they need, for example, if you have X transactions from the same ticket, you need to make sure that the transaction that is coming first will also be processed first. So this is also something that we are taking care of. What are the benefits? We start with the summary, and I think we will have some time for questions afterwards. What are the benefits of doing this? So basically, the main benefit is for the external application administrators and owners. If they want to communicate with the service desk, they don't need to think about how to do it too much. They don't need to spend too much time. This is the first point. They just need to think about, okay, which information I have, what do I need to send? That's it. They need to build their structure, their SOAP mechanism in a way that it is very, very simple and understandable. It's also readable. So don't need to think about UIDs. What do I need to send? I need to send the purse ID or the ID itself or the code or whatever. Just send me the information that I want. That's it, the text. We will take care of the rest. Second point is they don't need also to think about error handling. This is a very big benefit for those people, because you send the information. What happens if something is missing? So you don't need to care about it too much, really, because as soon as you send it and you got the acknowledgement from service desk via PAM that the information is there, we will do, or service desk will do the rest. If something is missing or things like that, as long as we received it, it's okay. If something is missing, you will get an understandable message back. This is missing. This is clear. Of course, if somebody will send an update to a non-existing ticket, you will get a reply that the ticket does not exist. This is clear. But all the rest, like, for example, somebody changed the title of the impact or something like that to be something else. So those kind of things, these are internal service desk issues that the external people, they don't need to care about them. Or somebody changed the ID of something. Don't need to care about this anymore. Clear visibility on the transaction level for the admins as well, because before, imagine you have like 10 applications that you need to integrate even with each other, but let's say with one system, with service desk system. So each and every one of them need to define their own mechanism of error handling, and each and every one of them need to develop the mechanism of itself, of all those things, all the mappings. This is not needed anymore. This is the point 1 and 2. The point 3 is, imagine the life of the administrator of service desk. So he has 10 applications that are connecting to his system, and he doesn't have a clue what's going on because nothing is really seen. If somebody wants to see something, it's in the logs deep down, very difficult to see. So in this way, the administrator, even not a developer, just a regular guy, opens service desk and can see very clearly what's going on in his system in terms of web services. This is the big step forward from the situation as it was before. And of course, the last point, the possibility to take actions on that, like doing mass updates of the transactions that failed, which did not exist in the past because it was the responsibility of the source systems to do that, which today not anymore an issue. Some challenges, as usual, the agendas on PAM, sensitive. So if you have, we had some situations, we had a lot of processes that were waiting, memory consumption and so on. I think it should be more easy with the next version. 3.1 is good, 4.2 should be better. But in any case, good design is important than all of the versions of PAM that will be or used to be. So good design is clear. We needed to make sure that even if we have a failed or suspended or blocked instance for any reason, it doesn't really help to leave it blocked if it's like 100 or 200 blocked instances, and nobody will look at them at the end. So we actually terminate them in fails. So in this case, at least they can be looked at in a bit later. They are failed, so nobody can do anything with them because they are finished, terminated, but at least they don't overload the memory usage of the application of PAM, and it can continue to progress and work normally. The other two, performance is clear and exception is clear. I will not go into too deep in details in that, and I would like to open the lines if anybody has a question. Operator, please can help us.
At this time, if you would like to ask an audio question, please do so by pressing *1. Again, *1 to ask an audio question. And your first question comes from Romita.
How much development time was involved with this application?
Good one. I said at the beginning it was not really defined as a project as a whole. So it was not like a project. Okay, let's put budget on that and so on. But let's say the main part of the integration with the external application took us about actually less time than expected. It took us a couple of 2 months, something like that, 2 months, 3 months duration, and investment. It was maybe something like maybe at least half of it. Something like maybe 100 man days, something like that, around this area.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. There are no further questions.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So I don't know, Marie, you wanna take over from me to do a closing, or it's okay?
And there are no more questions online either. Please note, everyone, that this broadcast has been recorded, and we'll be able to access it at a later time from our PAM forum there. And thank everyone for attending. Mary, are you there?
Yes, I just put up the poll, so if you could take a moment to answer the poll.
Thank you, everyone, again for attending. Shortly, there will be a poll being displayed. Please answer the poll so we know how well this presentation is. We'd welcome any additional comments that you may have as far as how well you enjoyed it. Also, any additional topics that you would like to see in the future. Mary, when is our next scheduled broadcast then?
It'll be in January.
In January. Please look forward to that. We look forward to your suggestions for our January broadcast. And thank you very much. And please answer the poll there. And Leigh, thank you very much for your presentation. It's very informative today.
Thanks, Eyal.
You're welcome. Thanks as well.
Thank you. This concludes today's conference call. You may now disconnect.